Peace, shalom, shalom, namaste, assalamu alaikum, hotep, namaste, jumbo, I said namaste twice. I am Natasha Da. Thank you for listening to this stream. I won't be long. I won't be looking in the chat so much. I just wanted to get this thought out. So as you know, if you're watching the moves the new president is making, he is eliminating the DEI, which is the program Diversity, Equity, and Inclusivity for, not only minorities, not only women, but also disabled people. It protects people with disabilities. It is it's a federal blanket that is, how can you say, laid over all sectors, including, of course, government and private sectors. Okay, so when the DEI programs are eliminated federally, what will happen is the federal government would then put pressure on universities and private businesses to let them know that if they do not eliminate their diversity programs and their inclusivity programs and their equity programs, then they will lose funding, a lot of funding that many, obviously, schools and even private businesses utilize. So now it's going to be like we've been dialed back to, I'd say, at least 50 years. We're dialing back to like pre-civil rights era. I mean, when I say civil rights, I mean the strides and the efforts that were made and the blood and tears and sacrifices that were made by so many people. Of course, Black people, Black Americans, and even diaspora, because Marcus Garvey was not a Black American, but he worked for equality or for the African American, basically. You get what I'm saying? It's not just about African Americans, though. We're talking about anyone who's being discriminated against, anyone who's being targeted, anyone. They now don't have those programs. Those programs are gone. Those programs federally, I'm talking about on the federal level. Now people say, well, states can still do this, and, the federal and the state are separate, but there will be so much pressure on specifically schools, universities. It's gone. Executive order, I forgot what the number, but you see it in the title. That executive order to get rid of DEI programs will set us back to the primitive time of, it's okay to discriminate against anyone that you don't like, any group. Okay? Black people are the pioneers of every movement, and then other groups follow suit. They, the Black people paved the way. I'm talking about civil rights again, civil rights movement. But everyone joined in. Everyone, Latinos, Asians, and guess what? Jewish people were a big part of the movement and the strides made. So now that brings me to the other part of this stream, this rant. Now, an executive order that was implemented and put into place by Donald Trump's administration is to protect Jews at all cost and be radical, not even a slither of anti-Semitism. You can't even hint at anti-Semitism in any way, shape, or form in any sector without suffering dire legal consequences. So, do you see the hypocrisy? You get rid of programs that protect certain groups that history has shown, are discriminated against because of ethnicity, so-called race, so-called color, so-called creed, because religious discrimination, all of those protected classifications are being just done away with when we talk about those particular federal programs and those agencies. They're closed. The offices are closed. The let's see, housing, equal opportunity housing. No one can discriminate against, let's say, someone who shows up in a wheelchair and there's someone who's offering, rental to different people. And then they say, well, we can't rent to you because you're in a wheelchair and we don't have real wheelchair accessibility for you. And so, because of that, we don't want to rent to you because you're in a wheelchair. Or we're not going to make any type of changes to our facility, a restaurant. We're not going to change our facility for you because you're in a wheelchair. Tough titties at the kitty when the milk ran dry. You're just going to have to go somewhere else and eat, or you could order out. We do curbside delivery. See, these are programs. The DEI program within the federal government, it protects so many different people. And ironically, it protects Jews. But see, Trump made sure that he said, don't worry about it. I got you guys. I'm going to put in another executive order and it's going to say, okay, anti-Semitism, this executive order is put into place and it will combat anti-Semitism. So basically, Trump is telling the world, we don't care about women being discriminated against. We don't care about Black people or Asian people or Latino people or brown people being discriminated against. All we care about, we don't care about people who are handicapped being discriminated against. Those are frivolous, shameful. This is his quote. I'm paraphrasing though. He said they're frivolous, shameful programs that are wasting the government's money. These programs to include everyone. There's no specific race on that. I mean, there should be, if you want to know. There should, instead of saying, okay, but anti-Semitism is different. Well, guess what? Discrimination against Blacks is different too. Because Blacks are still being discriminated against and they're downtrodden and there's a lot of trauma. We're talking about slave trauma for centuries. But just forget about the Blacks because we just have to see he's always about the money. He's always about targeting and pandering to the groups that benefit him mostly. And remember what I told you about yesterday on my stream, how they want to get rid of the FAA, basically? Well, I did more digging and looks like Elon Musk was angry with the head of the FAA because they fined him $600,000 for some violations that he did in the SpaceX program. Lo and behold, that guy was fired, and not one was only he fired. They did this weird, I don't know, this Black Hawk helicopter. Did you know? And collides with the American Airlines. Come on, now this is my opinion, my take on from what I observe. So you do your own research. YouTube. It's not even alleged. The crash happened. And did you know that they have recordings of that Black Hawk helicopter pilot or the people on that helicopter were told, do you see the plane that is approaching you, the American Airlines plane? And they said, yes, we see it. Make this make sense? So back to these executive orders. No more diversity, equity, and inclusion programs from the federal level, which will trickle down to the private sector. It will affect schools. Trust me, it obviously will. It will affect all businesses. equal opportunity housing, equal opportunity, no discrimination against disabled people in different jobs. That's all gone federally. And if it's gone federally, you would have to just appeal to your state, and the state is going to get pressure from federal government. They always do. So, yeah, let me just look at some of these comments. I just want to give that to you. Do your research. People who voted for Donald Trump, he was going to get elected anyway, but people who are cheering him on and said, yeah, get rid of, there's so many people who are misinformed. Why would we want to get rid of these programs? They're like, oh, because these trans people. It's not just for trans people. They came on the tail end of it. It's for Blacks, Latinos, brown people, white people with disabilities. White people are being discriminated against for being white even. If a white person goes into, let's say, a job, an establishment, oh, this is a cool jazz club, it's Black owned, and they say, I want to work here. Nah, we don't hire white people. They could have back then gone to the federal government and said, look, I'm being discriminated against. I need somebody to look into this. Why are you discriminating? They said, because I'm white. What do you mean? Yeah, because they said they only want Black and Latinos there. See, do you see? But then he comes in and says, we're putting out an executive order to be radical and take radical measures against anti-Semitism. Oh, hell no, this is crazy. We haven't even gotten through the first month, and this man is popping like popcorn on a hot skillet. This is crazy, y'all. Okay, so let me see what you guys have here. Peace to you, Caleb. I appreciate you, and peace to your family. Turtle Clan Brewster, peace to you, my friend. Kareem Smith, peace to you in Las Vegas. Yeah, this is so wild. Dub Sway, you agree? Well, it's okay if you disagree. You got to look at what's going on. I'm not a Trump fan, but I think he will make it right for the Black community. Look at what he said about the 14th Amendment. All right, my friend. This is not, first and foremost, it's B1, but this isn't about the Black community only. He has undone decades of work and accomplishments that have been made, sacrifices that also have been made by many people who worked day and night, sacrificed life, sacrificed, being with their families, did a lot to have these programs in place. Now, all things get manipulated. I don't know what sparked, because there's always some type of sensationalism that gets the public to agree with such ignorant moves, like getting rid of diversity, equity, and inclusivity programs. Like, give me a break. That's a no-brainer. Women are being discriminated against. Blacks are being discriminated against. Latinos, Asians, amputees. Oh, we don't want you working here because, it's a nice establishment and one of your arms is gone. We need someone who looks more, whole, and there's nothing to distract the customers. You can no longer go federally and make a complaint on that. See? So it's really bad. Do your own research, my friends. That is the reference she's making. It's available to see and show how accurate she's clear. Yeah, just go check it out, Dubsway. And I appreciate, this is always fine when you come in and say, I disagree. I love it. Just do your research. Everyone isn't just one specific, prove me wrong. Well, you know what? What do you mean prove me wrong? Maybe you said something else. Let me ask you, Nepal, would you rather have Kamala over Trump? See, I have so much compassion for you right now. That's what they want us to do, my friend. They want us to fight over. How many matches do you have in your pile? I got 3. You have 2. Would you rather have three matches or 2 matches? And in the meantime, the whole world is burning down behind us. Who cares? We don't need these matches. Look behind us. There's a huge fire. Get it? The house is on fire. Remember what Martin Luther King said? He said, I think I have led my people into a burning house. I regret. I'm paraphrasing. So don't worry about all that. Don't worry about that. Everyone is, it isn't just one specific, prove me wrong. I don't understand what you mean by that, but well, when you ask me, which would I rather have? The agenda of the regime is to systematically chip away at the population. That's the first agenda. Well, that's one of the agendas. Alongside, in tandem with the agenda to reduce the population, we also have changes in those who will not be exterminated, how they will be able to move and what their freedom and rights will be, and who controls them and who they control for the regime. Okay, so if you look closely, anything that happens at the end, at the bottom of it, it's going to be population, I'm doing air quotes, control. Okay. You notice that the Georgia Guidestones are not even available to go even check out anymore. See, people thought, they always said the person who the anonymous creator of the Georgia Guidestones, they made it like that was an evil, sinister person. No, that person was a revolutionary. That person was a whistleblower. That was a harbinger. Go look at you can't go look at the Georgia Guidestones anymore unless you check out a picture or hear about, a breakdown. The Georgia Guidestones told us 500 million. That's it. It's real. And then they had so much security on those Georgia Guidestones, cameras everywhere, but then somehow they mysteriously exploded because they don't want people going to check out the Georgia Guidestones anymore. They can control the information that we look up. Also, I want to drop this gem. Please put a pin in this, write it down. Go check out the libraries. Have you noticed that nothing is available anymore? Like, I'm talking about major libraries. The more you go into like the library here, the main library of your cities, not the maybe the fringe ones, but go into your main libraries, like the biggest libraries in your cities. There are books that were available, and I'm not going to say something just specific because it's all across the board. History, law books, you name it, they're gone, or you cannot. They're still listed in the catalog so far, but they're not going to be in the catalog for long. You can't even find the books that you need. It's just crap. The Vatican had already done this. The Vatican and the Library of Congress, of course. Everybody can't get access to every book that's available. There are just certain people. You need certain clearance. What am I saying? I'm saying, if you looked up the Georgia Guidestones today, you may be able to find out about them. I'm going to say in about 4 years, well, maybe even 3, you won't be able to get adequate information on it. I've seen things change. I've seen the media the information be changed by the media and by the search engines. I've seen it for myself. Let's see here. Okay, so let's see. Dubsway says, it's a delay, so most of my comments are after certain comments you make. Okay, I know it's okay. I know you're not being, it's not against me personally. You're fine. I'm not against you, beloved. I'm saying most of the things are misinterpreted. Okay, well, that's why we do if this helps people do their research and say, let me see what Dubsway is saying. Maybe, he's right. Or maybe, I don't know if you're a male or female, but maybe Dubsway is right. Let's go check this out. We've both done a service to the public. Caleb says, the quote Napa made was following quote from Martin. I fear I may have, okay, so this is it. Thank you. I fear I may have integrated my people into a burning house. Wow. The Queen rightly cited that. Thank you so much. Yeah. So let's see. Caleb says facts. The Georgia Guidestone was closed in 2022, and then the explosion happened in July 2022. Exactly. So it just was a coincidence that they were closed already, and people were somehow getting in there. And they said, we're going to have to just decimate these. We're going to have to get rid of these, demolish. Dubspace says, when I say Kamala over Trump, I'm saying Kamala most definitely wouldn't have made any more changes than Trump. I can bet my bottom dollar to that. She definitely wouldn't have gotten rid of the DEI, but at the end of the day, it's already set. No pun intended, but it's already set in stone. She wouldn't have gotten rid of the DEI, but I'm not saying, I'm not, at this point, it's not about candidates. It's about knowing who's supposed to do what. I think Joe was just a filler for chaos. Like, who can we put in here who can just screw things up? I know, Joe Biden. So they put him in there to work the Hegelian dialectic and, order out of chaos. So yeah. Let me read this last one. Let me see this. It's true. New York City, Arkansas, Michigan defunded much of the libraries in the past 4 years. Thank you. And imagine what's going to happen with federal funding to libraries when we're talking about the diversity, equity, equality, and inclusivity programs. So let's see here. Dubsway said, first of all, you have to understand we are and always will be under the thumb of white supremacy. WTBS I don't know what that means. It will always be like this. Well, I'm not going to argue with you on that one. I think it was going to get worse. Thank you for your comments, everybody. Conqueror says, it's all in the blood in the name of Yahweh Shai. Yahweh is salvation. WTN, watch the news. Okay. All right, thank you. Be blessed yourself. I want to say thank you. This wasn't going to be long, but I do want you to take a look. Go look up the executive order on anti-Semitism. And I want you to go through that and think, why is it specifically anti-Semitism? Why is he pushing this group is the most important? You don't have to be black to see that this is crazy. You don't have to be a white person from the Appalachians who is saying, what did that crazy fighter say that he thought that Hitler was great, which is ridiculous. Hitler was not great. He was a mentally disturbed monster. He was a mentally ill, sociopathic, megalomaniac, narcissist. I wonder who else do we have around who's like that? Oh, I'm going to leave it at that. You do the math. Go also see if you can find similarities between this administration and the president and the Third Reich and Hitler. You will be astonished because remember, we are in the Fifth Reich. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Much love to everybody. And everyone go check out that bill, executive order, the Queen referenced. Yes, 13899. Yes. Yes. And also check out the other one. I think it's 14151. Compare those two. All right. It's been great. Yes. Bryce Mitchell. Thank you so much, Caleb. All right. Thank you, Dubsway, for your input. I love it. We don't have to have an echo chamber in here. It's always great to get everyone's input. All followers, clear your mind, do your own research and make up your own mind. I love it. I'm going to leave you with that. Peace to the darkest minds of the light.